Hey Josh, just before we start, would you prefer if
All right. Good evening, everyone. So, let's get right into it.
I believe you were going to have Annie start.
I believe that I was.
What? This is news to me.
Hey, that's because you weren't here for it. Because you
That's taking advantage of my work situation.
Yeah? Well, now. So, does anyone want to quickly recap what we were doing last time?
All of the dice rolls.
Right, that is the truth.
So we took Harikuri. Did I get her name right?
Ari
Kari to the unfortunately deceased Planeswalker's home. And she kind of had a moment. And then she was like looking around, and we had a discussion about the moral appropriateness of whether to give someone the ability to read.
Well, it was more of a prime directive sort of conversation of, is it okay to interfere and give this lady access to powers that she might not understand?
I would say reading is one of those.
It wasn't even the reading, it was the subject matter that she would be reading.
I would argue, though, that reading in all forms gives you access to knowledge and the potential for other things. But anyway.
True.
So discussions were had, and then glitter was thrown. And she was like, hey, they're not talking. Suddenly I know how to do shit. Whoa. And
yeah. To be fair, though, we were going to teach her different forms of magic anyway, so.
True. It's just a slippery slope is all. Next thing, we were like, where are we going to go find those other 2 stones? And we got some clues about where to find those. And then we went to bed because we were like, well, we got the information from the clues as best we could. And then today we were going to go and look for the green stone, I believe, with the one tribe. Am I right? Am I close?
Who remembers which stone you decided to go? It was green or white? I think everyone was like the white stone was the big dinosaurs.
I could have sworn
Yeah,
that we went for the. I could have sworn we were going to go for the green one because of the.
No,
We
No,
were gonna go for the dinosaur one.
that's right. I
Oh.
said I want to see the really giant dinosaurs.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Dinosaurs.
Apologies.
And nobody else had anything else to say about it, so that's what we were doing.
That's
And there we go. And there we go.
But after dinosaurs, we can go to the mingled tribe.
okay. So at this point, I think I'm gonna pitch the start of this narrative. Dawns are becoming a little commonplace for the group. Like we're kind of settling in. This is our third day of camping. Everyone's kind of got their sleeping spots already kind of picked out at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And you, like, to set the scene, the various people who are in the living shelter / I guess now it's a tomb to Vane the Planeswalker, awakened to find that Arikari is sitting once more at the table, and she's just surrounded by books. Just journal after journal after journal. Some of them half complete, some of them laid aside. She looks like she has not slept at all.
So am I starting this?
Sure, go for it.
Okay. So Ilona gets up, starts looking for food, wanders by once she's found like an apple or something to munch on, finds Arikari sitting there.
With
Have
Fizzle
you been
sleeping on her.
Have you been reading all night?
Her simple stretches to give you a very tired look and goes, has it been all night? What time is it?
Well, the sun's come up. She points over at the window, trying to make this self-evident.
Quick rewind. There are no windows. You're underground.
Oh. See, this is still biting me in the ass for not being here the first game.
Yeah. You are underground. There are no windows.
Shh.
Oh, see, I always thought that it was. I didn't think we were underground, but we were in the mountain. Or whatever this was.
It's kind of both. You're kind
Okay.
of in like a mountain cave that's been carved out to be like a tomb temple thing.
Okay.
With no windows.
With no windows because it's underground.
Gotcha. So I've got a pretty good... I'm just going to BS my way through this now then.
We'll say she points to like a clock or like a something like that's on the wall. I can see Vane
A magical sundial.
I could see Vane having like a magical like clockwork device that clicks the time.
It could be as simple as a water clock.
Yeah, like a water clock. There we go.
So anyway, she points at the time device. That right there, that indicates time of day. It's morning.
Oh, she actually looks out like it. Oh, I thought that was just for pretty thing.
I mean, it is pretty too, but it serves a function. You know, I know we just like basically showed you how to read last night and made this super simple, but you do need to pace yourself. I mean, it's not like going out and hunting or, you know, casting a spell. but it is tiring for the mind to just sit there and take in information.
She looks at you for a moment and looks at and she looks at all of the things in front of you, but these are like his thoughts.
Yes. And they'll be here later. But, I mean, will you be here later if you don't sleep?
She sighs, yielding to your logic. I just feel like I now know him better than I have in years.
Well, you probably do.
I see your point. She hugs the limp Fizzle to her chest. At this point, I think actually Fizzle would probably have woken up convinced now her bed is moving.
Nice.
So, I mean, even Fizzle went to sleep.
Soft. What?
You took a nap, dear.
Who? What? I did nothing. Nothing wrong. It wasn't me.
There was no accusation. What were you thinking?
Good, because I didn't do anything.
I only met you 3 days ago, and you're seeming more shifty by the moment.
That's ridiculous. I am an upstanding citizen.
At this point, Arikari kind of sets Fizzle down on the table.
Oh, but it was soft.
She gives a small chuckle very tiredly as she kind of wanders over to a corner that's been vacated. There's like a long fur rug sitting there. It just kind of flops down. Obviously used to sleeping on the floor, this woman.
Can I maybe show you another improvement to life? I mean, in for a penny, in for a pound. She says that part under her breath.
She opens a single eye and gazes at you through her hair.
Ilona beckons her over with a finger waggle. Follow me.
She gets up and follows.
Ilona leads her around until she finds a room that is not currently occupied with someone probably about to wake up or who is up.
Uh-huh.
And then, are there any, Mr. Sir, spare rooms with a bed already in them?
Oh, sure. Probably.
Okay. Just checking. She finds one of said rooms and points at the bed and says, that will be much nicer.
Arikari, having slept on a cot before, even though it was just a wood frame piled with furs, crawls on to what is probably a more medieval style mattress and flops down. Yes. Almost instantly, she rolls over and is asleep.
Thought so. Ilona heads back down and starts just perusing through some of the books herself, going, what's in here?
What looks like what she was reading was not actually magic books or spell books of any kind. It was largely just Vane's series of journals and notes. Once she had been told, hey, this is how you can tell journal dating, she'd figured it out for herself and was now going through from earliest to latest.
Ilona still looks through any of the other books that are more magic practicing and looks through them to see if she can learn anything quickly without a lot of extra effort.
Most of Vane's magics deal with earth manipulation. He was primarily a lithomancer, And what that basically means is deals with like arranging stones and carving stones in order to better channel ley lines and energy. And to her word, Arikari has not touched the books that you deemed were perhaps dangerous for her, that were above her abilities to use without, maybe bringing harm upon herself through the form of mana burn or anything like that.
They were the ones that required no training wheels?
Yeah, they were more specifically, they're the books where, like, if you get the patterns wrong, you might end up with severe physical damage.
Alright, somebody else's turn.
Yep. So, Fizzle's probably the nearest one. Let's go to Fizzle. Arikari has retreated to a bedroom to sleep. And Alona is looking through some of the stuff that she was reading. Guess let's go around and maybe actually get a sense of where everyone else is. Amatrine, where's Amatrine?
In the water.
Okay, outside in the water. Where's Tetrix?
Probably like cleaning herself, actually.
Probably outside with the Pteranodon, since that's where he sleeps.
With the Pteranodon?
Yeah.
Indeed. Alright, so.
Not sexually, but he's a Beastmaster, so yeah, he's gonna.
Are you sure he wants to impress the dragon?
Alright.
Sorry.
That escalated quickly.
I know.
Alright, so he's out with the Pteranodon, probably taking care of the Pteranodon.
Yep.
Get this all in a nice pan. So yeah, let's put the spotlight back on Fizzle. So you kind of know where everyone is. Second night of this. So
Alona seems the only one up and moving around.
Alona seems the only one who's not attending to like early morning stuff.
Then yeah, Fizzle's gonna go and find Arikari and go back to sleep for a little while. She likes to sleep in.
Okay, yeah, sleeping in's fine. Let's put the spotlight back on Amatrine for a moment. What's Amatrine doing? What you want to do?
Oh no, I'm naked!
Oh no, I'm naked! Oh.
And once again, that escalated quickly.
Well, I did say she was bathing.
Here, let's get some censor bars up in the chat here. Perfect.
There you go.
Love it.
Now that we've got the correct censoring on board there.
Yep. So, yeah. She bathes. What'd you do after bathing? Real quick,
Actually, I was thinking she would go for a morning flight. And kind of, I guess, like making some rounds, making sure that there's nothing dangerous on its way there or anything like that.
I'm going to throw it on you, Cassie. What sort of things does she perhaps see? Anything interesting?
She probably sees dinosaurs, which are always interesting. Maybe a couple of tribes that are nearby that haven't quite been made aware of their presence yet. She sees some hunting parties. They're not on their way to the caves or anything. They're doing their normal routine. at the point when she would see them, she would then make herself invisible to them.
Continuing with the good old-fashioned, like, we need to not interfere, right?
Or rather, she needs them to not decide that they want to hunt her.
True enough, she is a sparkly thing in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I think, then we'll actually do like a little crossover. Like, as Ametrine gets back from that, she passes by Tedrix, taking care of his Pteranodon.
Okay. Before we continue the scene, I honestly can't remember. Tedrix was he was against teaching Arikari the ability to read, right?
He was very, very specific that he didn't believe that they should be teaching them any magic, just in case that it, upset a balance of civilizations. And he was very specifically against teaching her his magic, particularly because it was weird and different and strange. But I think, yeah, he also was in the we probably shouldn't let her read crowd.
All right, so yeah, he's kind of just tending to the Pteranodon, and I think he's still a little pissed.
Yeah.
She knows how to read, doesn't she?
Only
so his
for
concern.
A few hours.
He still went through with it. Remember where he's from.
Mm-hmm. I remember.
And guess who didn't cast the spell?
I'm not saying that he's pissed at any one in particular. It's more the situation that
he's pissed at Fizzle because he's a racist.
No, he doesn't trust Fizzle.
And a sexist.
No, he's not a sexist.
Yeah.
I don't know. He hasn't liked any of the females that we've had here.
Well, to be fair, there's 2 men and 3 women. The dice is slightly weighted towards that.
It also doesn't help the fact that where he's from, humans stick together, so he hasn't, and all the women are not human.
Neither is the dragon.
No, but the dragon is special because he's never seen one before.
Has he seen any of us before?
Some of that dragon D.
No, I don't think he's ever seen a light spirit or a... Oh, sorry.
He's dealt with fairies before, or pixies, or whatever you want to classify Fizzle as, and hence why the mistrust goes more towards her than anybody else. Because, yeah, he doesn't really have a lot of experience with anybody else, but he does with her kind. Whether it's same, different, whatever, it's just ingrained.
Do not trust the fair folk.
Well, yeah, especially when they have aspects of black magic, sure.
What?
Oh, he's probably talking about the pixies on his planet. All are probably aligned.
Yes.
Oh, sure.
So, yeah, no. They're you guys are good as dead.
All right. But anyway, so
he's angry at the situation that despite concerns, they were disregarded and she was taught how to read. And the balance has been shifted.
So physically, how do we see this?
I guess he's kind of angrily, well, I wouldn't say brushing, but kind of just I guess angrily cleaning would be something.
Yeah.
Like throwing shit into his bag and stuff is just angry.
Okay. This happens as Amatrine walks by. Is angry sleeping spot cleaning.
Whoa there.
Did you have a nice flight?
I did until I almost got hit with you. What? Brush?
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, there's really no excuse, but suffice to say, this is not going well for me.
What is not?
It seems like opinions were disregarded, and we've affected a plane.
Were opinions disregarded?
I certainly felt like it. I voiced my concerns about teaching the Pixies' interest into reading. And
Oh, snap.
And you think that because that's your opinion, then that's the one that should be followed.
no,
Well,
but it was quickly disregarded.
we heard everybody's opinion. And ultimately, there were 3-1. Or 3-2. I mean, I don't think that your opinion was disregarded, but there were
We shifted the
more people
balance.
for it than against it.
We shifted the balance of power.
We are letting somebody read journals for a few hours.
And that changes the very aspect of that person.
As far as
We have no idea down the road what could happen because of that.
And as far as shifting the balance, how? She's already the person that all of the tribes go to when they want something. They are already the central tribe.
But now she has a Planeswalker's understanding and journals. She knows more than she would have ever found out if she hadn't learned that he died. If we hadn't brought her here and altered her in a way to understand his journals.
So, would you rather there continue to be human sacrifices?
That's not for me to say.
Because we've changed that. Why are we given the power that we are given, if not to use it?
What
Are we simply meant to go to world and observe?
So we should feel free to traipse through every plane and change everything drastically?
Did I say that?
We don't know what the consequences are.
No.
We don't know what they will be.
But I know that we stopped a tribe from doing human sacrifices. We are teaching them a better way.
But they should have found that better way on their own. We've already changed the culture, and now we're changing it further.
And it was being changed before we came. We're not the first Planeswalkers here, you know.
I understand that. But you're trying to justify altering it further by the actions of somebody that came before.
What I am trying to say is that we don't know if it was better for this way or worse, but we also don't know if not doing anything, we don't know if we set things back to the correct path. It could have been that they were on the wrong path because of what Planeswalkers came before.
Is this what all Planeswalkers are like?
I don't know, is this what you're like? All Planeswalkers are different. All people are different.
Your reasoning is the exact cause of every bad thing that has happened on my plane. A Planeswalker came to my realm and saw that things were wrong and did what she did to correct it. And now my magic works different than everybody else's. And when I bring up that concern, which is a valid concern, it's disregarded.
All I know is that what we've done, we've taken an amulet that a Planeswalker gave to a tribe and stopped the human sacrifices that they were making. And we will be finding this codex so that we can know how to continue. Perhaps you should try to read some of the journals that were left here.
I've read through the journals.
It might give you some answers that you're looking for.
See, you want me to you want me to find answers from another planeswalker. But my experience meant nothing.
You're asking me what to do. I can't tell you. I've only been doing this a month. Oh wait,
Same
how
here.
long did I say I was doing this?
A year.
A year.
Now that's longer than I have.
All I know is that I need this codex.
And why do you need this codex?
To help save my people. And kill the one who is hunting them.
I need to find a way to get help to my people. And that is why I am here. Not to interfere. And change the course of another plane's history.
You speak in riddles and hypocrisies. I'm going inside.
I'm gonna pass out a couple retroactive compels here. For that. Cassie gets one. Boop. Teacher gets one for that. Boop. There you go.
Wait, what just happened?
We got fate points.
You got fate points because technically those would have, like that, the drama in that situation would have actually like resulted in some fate points. I actually have a question regarding that little scene there. Are you guys happy with the resolution, or maybe you'd like to throw some dice at it?
I don't know. I wasn't planning to throw any dice at it.
No, I mean, I know Tedrix is still mad, and he's really not liking. Aside from the dragon, he's really not liking planeswalkers in general.
And Amatrine is just like, you say you don't want to mess with other people, but you want other people to come to your plane to help you. Yeah, fuck off.
Yeah, he doesn't see it that way.
Well, that's the thing. That's why I'm like,
I can
that's
tell.
why I'm like, do you want to throw some dice at it? Because you could technically influence one another's characters. Like, depending on the results, like, Tedrix could have to realize that, yeah, I am being a little hypocritical. I'm sitting here saying that no one should interfere with anyone else's plane, yet I'm looking for people to come and interfere in my plane. And also, Amatrine could realize that they're, like, Tedrix's perspective. It just depends on who would come out of the dice roll. Or we could leave it there.
I would personally like to leave it there. I like a little bit of, what's it called? Tension for a little bit longer, because I think that him coming around to that should take more time, honestly. It makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And we can have another debate. And then we can throw dice at it.
That's also fine. That's totally okay. Alright, so I guess I'm gonna advance the scene then, since we've seen everyone. So we're gonna go through, and it kind of like we see like a little speed kind of montage going through of the morning. Everyone knows at this point that, yeah, they're gonna go and try and find the white stone that exists on the plains, and is guided by the what I call them, the Titan something. What did I call them last session? Should have made a note on this, but I didn't.
I don't know, but they're in the
Matt wrote it
nests.
down in Discord chat.
Oh yeah, he did.
Did he?
Well, he wrote the riddles down. Did he write what they meant?
Right. No, he didn't. I don't think he wrote the answer. But it's okay. It's okay. They were Titan lizard, not Titansaurs. Scaled Titans. That's what they're called. The Scaled Titans. Does anyone do anything specific to prepare for this?
I was gonna, pack... I don't know. I feel like there's things that she would pack, but they're not coming to mind right now.
Yeah.
Definitely food.
Definitely food. Okay.
Lona simply packs provisions, and she usually wings life from there.
Yeah, because, I would pack a rope, but, flying is a thing.
Right.
Fizzle's not going to prepare for the journey specifically, but she's going to extend the spell on Arikari and leave her a note saying, you should still be able to read when you wake up. Have fun, but don't work too hard.
Okay.
Oh, bitch.
You can do this in private?
She's just going to do it right there in the bedroom.
Yeah.
So, unless people come in to watch.
Yeah, so in private, you do this. We see that in private, let me think about this in terms of as if it was a comic or a TV show. You see, she watches carefully as some people walk past the open door, and pretends to be sleeping, as everyone kind of congregates in the main living space a little bit.
Oh no, that is way too sneaky. Because if people are walking by the door, she's gonna be doing it anyway. Because fuck them.
Okay. Yeah. So then less sneaky. So like literally, she just doesn't really matter as she gets some free moments.
Arikari's gonna wake up covered in glitter.
Yeah, it just glitters her again and right to the nose.
Well, she was anyway. Honestly.
I guess then I'd open it up. Does anyone else want to be aware of this, or just let it be that no one really knows that she did this?
Honestly, I think Tedrix is still kind of pissed, so he hasn't gone inside at all.
Okay, so Tedrix is out of it. Anyone else want to?
But if he did go inside, he'd see that Arikari is not even reading any of the spellbook.
Yeah, it's true.
Doesn't matter.
Yep.
Ilona might look at it, but she's not going to say anything.
Okay.
And apologies, I'm getting food for like the next 5 minutes, but I can't hear.
And yeah, Ametrine just wouldn't even be a thing to her, so yeah, I don't care. I can know or not know.
I think the only person that had a hang up was me.
Yeah. Well, I remember.
Alona didn't want it to happen.
Alona had concerns, but Alona is ambivalent in a lot of things in life because of reasons that if you want to talk to her about, you can have that discussion in like 5 minutes once I have food not eaten. I'm literally holding my phone under my chin as I try and dish food onto my plate.
No, that's okay.
So yeah. Then only the audience sees it. That's fine. So, dang it! I would have gone to Alona at this point, but Alona is grabbing food as quickly as she can. That's fine. Then I'm gonna take a brief moment and wander about 3 feet behind me and get a glass of water.
Okay.
So I will be just stepping away while Annie finishes up.
Yep.
Oh my.
Okay, sorry. If I don't get the food within like 10 minutes of being told that it's out, it gets put away on me.
Within 10 minutes?
Yes, because we have dogs that like to try and steal food.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
And they're 100-pound dogs. That means that they're tall enough to get to the counter without aid.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, oh, it's at mouth height. This is convenient.
Perfect, dog ooze. All right, so I think actually that is everyone, because I just remembered that Ilona has already took care of things. She's loaded herself some provisions. So let's transition then.
Were you gonna come to me?
Yeah. Is there any?
Okay.
I think I already asked though. Is there anything specific?
Nope. She's more of a wing it kind of person. She'll take some, basic provisions, but due to her nature, she's more like, I can probably magic my way through this.
Right. So, I think then we can transition on to the next scene.
Well, did we just get another player?
Yes, we did. I think Matt just barely hopped in. He hasn't hopped in chat yet, though. Oh yeah, he is. Hey, hi, Matt.
Oh, nope, he muted us.
He's deafened. But it's okay.
Sup? Sorry about that.
That's all right.
We'll actually transition to Malgarian. Malgarian kind of sitting out there on the riverbank.
Okay, so I'm assuming we haven't really gone after the lizard skin tribe.
No, not yet.
Well, we were going to go after the scaled titans, the Whitestone, weren't we?
Mhm.
I remember that
That
from
was
last session.
that was Fizzle's vote. She was like, "I want to see the giant dinosaurs," and nobody seemed to have anything against that. So
Yeah.
Right. Because that's right. Because the other one was going to be a. We know where that is, so we'll go to that later. Right.
Yeah. So far, all that's really happened is Alona had to show Arikari to her bed. She spent all night reading Vane's journals. She hasn't touched the spell books in any great regard. Like, she maybe has read a few pages and then basically been like, I want to know more about Vane than I do about further magic.
Mm-hmm.
And spent all night reading those. Good 12 hours worth, I'd say. Well, no. Yeah, good 12
Long
hours.
enough to be exhausted.
Long enough to be exhausted, and so she was shown to bed. Ametrine and Teedrix had kind of a tense conversation about the decision to let her read and whether or not that was morally correct, and they both got fate points for it because they were working on their through their aspects pretty well. So I did some retroactive compels there.
All good.
And
And
now,
just as the recap from last week, though, because we pretty much we didn't leave any of the advanced magic stuff there with Arikari in the first place, right?
yeah,
It was just some of the basic stuff and largely just his journals.
yes, the basic stuff in his journals, and she has upheld her word and not touched the advanced books, which I did specify this time because I forgot to last time, and that the advanced books were dangerous for her not because of the power, like the spells they contained, but more because like it's the stuff that starts getting into like, hey, if you mess up this pattern, you could seriously injure yourself or others around you. You can induce mana burn in yourself and things like that, and that's probably not things you want to teach a beginner.
Exactly, because she's, despite being the most powerful witch in her tribe, she probably is still very much a scrub.
Yeah. So,
Okay, so Malgarian up on like the riverbank or whatever
yeah,
in the morning.
waiting for, like, everyone else has kind of gotten prepared. He's probably waiting on them because as a dragon, he's fairly self-sufficient.
Well, and there was one other plan that he's been considering doing, and so probably while everybody's doing their preparations, he's going to be doing his.
Okay.
And this is the thing I had intended to ask you about over the weekend, but forgot.
Okay. Go ahead.
Can I make because I know White does a lot of like ward and rune stuff. Would it be possible for him to functionally like put down either a spell or a rune or something to store it into like in a rock or whatever, where he could then functionally build a mana pool for a little bit so that he could then have more mana available to try and cast a bigger spell because he's taking the time to do so?
It's possible. It depends on how long you'd want that pool to last. Like, long-lasting enchantments normally need a power source to draw from.
The point of this one is literally less of an enchantment and more just I'm trying to collect enough mana to get a bigger bonus, because the time frame that you gave on how long summons should last is good for like fighting and like for short tasks, less so for the extended tasks that he has in mind.
It's possible. You could make something that distills mana into a place. It might work also if you had some form of a mana stone like you've been collecting that permanently produces a small trickle of mana.
Yeah, because he's only wanting to try and accumulate some more red mana into the spot for just the one spell.
Yeah, it's something that he could potentially do, but it would take some working to, you know. Ironically, the ironic thing is Vayne could have done it, considering he was a lithomancer. And like I just barely said, Alona's actually was reading one of his books a little bit on stuff, and it's like, lithomancy is the art of shaping stone and to enable it to naturally conduct magic through it, like to synchronize it up to the lane lines and stuff. So ironically, yeah, he could have done it pretty easily. But yeah, I think it's doable to like make a kind of like a mana trap to hold mana for a brief time.
Okay, because as far as like the mechanics, like the okay, so the roleplay side of it is he just wants to make sure that he can cast this already big spell as big as he can get it.
Right.
Because he's gonna need it. Mechanically, it's because I'm trying to just make sure that I can get the result as high as I can, so that it can last as long as he needs it to.
Right. So is he working on this now? While he's waiting for these for the rest of his group, or?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Try to get the thing set up so that he can have it start accumulating, and then hopefully try to cast his summon by the time that they have to leave.
Okay. Then I'll do it this way. Describe to me what it looks like that he's doing for the rest of the group to know, kind of see what he's doing, and then roll your spell shaping, and I'll write up an environmental aspect for this.
I seem to create a lot of these.
Yeah, you do. A lot of what the way you like to affect narrative seems to be along those lines too.
So I'm running it as a red spell.
Okay.
Correct? Okay.
Yeah, if you're looking to trap red, you need to be using red.
There we go. Wow, those dice told me to fuck off. So that is a roll of 3.
Okay. So describe your success. It is a what is it?
So he probably did his this thing he had before for where he had been sleeping.
Okay.
You know, under the ground and whatnot. Created himself a nice little pool of magma or whatever that just kind of kept him nice and warm. Obviously, his head's in a place where he can still breathe when it cools over the night, but whatever. And when he woke up, he just kind of shrugs his shoulders and it cracked off and everything. But when he realized, yeah, I'm gonna have to create this other enchantment thing so that I can, because again, big spell, whatever. He probably found. He probably started sifting through the stones with one of his big feet, just no, not that one, no, not that one either. And eventually he found just this big obsidian chunk that was flat on one side, and kind of concave on the other, and to create it to create the spell, he gave it the anchor for this, and he just starts using he's holding it in one clawed hand functionally,
right,
and with the other he's not touching it, he's just pointing at it as he draws out the rune. And then while he's weaving the magic into the rune itself and into the stone, so that it's just the thing that it's still an enchantment rather than an artifact. It's just the stone is where the enchantment is centralized.
Mm-hmm.
And then once that's done, he functionally just, there's plenty enough red here, and he just sets it down and lets it start soaking in additional red mana so that he can drain it and destroy the enchantment. later.
Right. Okay. All right. I will give a environmental aspect. I'm gonna call it. Is there anything you can think to call it? I got a name, but it's dumb.
The Dragonstone.
Okay, I can do that.
I don't know.
Anyone? Anyone got a clever name?
Red Mana Sponge.
Okay. The Obsidian Mana Sponge.
Ooh.
I'll put that there. I'll make a note of it. And it has one invocation. One free invoke. And that will be an environmental aspect on this, on Vane's tomb for a while. Okay. So, everyone approaches Malgarian as he basically seems to be playing with a piece of obsidian rock. And then he sets it down.
He seems quite content with himself. Also, I should probably turn on my voice thingy.
Probably. So. Dang it, I had something I was going to say and then I lost it. Someone quick save me.
So Ilona flies up to Malgarian and goes, "What you doing?"
So she flew up like next to him or some such?
Yep, like over his shoulder.
Okay.
Looking at it.
So he, while his wings weren't like fanned out or anything, he does seem to be, trying to be accommodating for the amount of airspace he takes up just passively, and so he kind of pulls them a little bit closer into his sides and turns to Ligur.
I've created a small stone that will absorb additional red mana. There's not quite enough here for the summon that I would like to be able to perform, but hopefully this will solve that problem.
What summon is that?
Oh, I plan on summoning Festriala the Scarred.
She gives you a very quizzical look, like, make that make sense.
One of the... perhaps not Festriala. I never did get the opportunity to explain to you where I come from, have I?
Kinda, you showed up. I was told take these gals to this one place. We showed up, and things happened. That was about it.
In my plane, there are 5 major clans of dragon. I was the leader of those of us who are most attuned towards white mana.
Okay.
When I became a planeswalker, I also took on red within my purview. The leaders of the other 5 clans and I have worked together very closely for centuries, and after I became a planeswalker and developed the abilities that I now have, I went to each of them and asked if they would accept assisting me across the plains. And they are now not bound to me, but I can call on their power wherever I am, so long as there is enough power in the area to summon them. I will not be pulling my friends from their home, but creating a copy of them. And I believe that we need the help if we're going to find what we need to find, and with before this giant slime becomes too much of a problem, we may need their help, at least in covering more ground.
Alrighty. But you do know that I'm pretty fast, right? She's looking at you like, come on now.
He just kind of smiles and nods, like acknowledging the point. Just oh man, I can't find my pictures that I posted with all the Durgans. Durgans. Oh, there we are. So anyway, after he does a little acknowledgement, he says,
"Oh, believe me, I'm quite well aware, but I am I believe, with exception to perhaps the leader of the Black Dragons clan, I think I'm the slowest of all of them. And if you're going to come along with us towards finding the White Stone with the dinosaur nests,
that was my plan.
Exactly. So I can summon one of the dragon matrons or patrons and send them the other way ahead of us to scout ahead. And see if what they can find out about either the slime or the green mana stone.
Okay. Just wondering, like, are they visible? Like, when you call them? Like, can things see them?
Oh yes. It will be hard for them not to. But I suppose that is a point that cinches it.
I mean, not that I'm trying to, like, say I should be sent on every little recon, but, I mean, might rock some boats, as it were. Just a thought.
And that's what I believe that you have helped me decide which of the dragon lords to defend.
Anyway, everyone's ready to go.
So at that point, Josh, do you think that it would have accumulated enough to pretend to actually be usable?
For right now, probably not. No, you just barely said it.
So, well, because this was a thing that he would have been working on pretty much when he got up. So how long have people been at stuff?
Maybe like an hour.
Oh, well.
Don't worry. You'll get your chance to use it.
Well, by the time they get back with the other stone, there's not going to be a point to using it.
Well, there is still one stone left after the white one.
That's what I mean. Whatever.
Well, then I suppose instead of scouting ahead for the green stone, we'll simply use it to determine the exact location of where that slime is, if we need to deal with that later. But for now, I will put this away.
And so he's just going to pick it up and float. Excuse me. Fly over towards the fortress itself, and he's going to put it behind the locked door. Like, open the door, set it inside, like off in the side in the hallway, pat it on the top, and then he's just going to leave it there to collect mana while they're gone.
So once you walked away, or walked, however you transported yourself a little further away, and I don't know if anybody else wants to hear this, but very quietly, Alona says, "Gosh, he reminds me of my dad. Always thinking he knows what needs to be done."
Hold this.
heard it.
Fizzle's just laughing. Just laughing.
I just chuckle.
She looks over at them like, what? What's so funny?
You're not
I
as
thought of a
quiet
joke
as you
earlier.
think sometimes.
I told her the joke too. Don't listen to her. She was laughing at the joke.
She shrugs from her aerial position since she just floats.
She really is Lumen.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I had this concept before you did. I invented Glowbug.
Oh snap! The gauntlet's been thrown. All right, so getting back to it. Everyone kind of knows what they need to do. They remember the hints. It's down the river till you hit the plains. Then you just need to find a group of long-necked dinosaurs going to their nests. Right.
Very, very large long-necked dinosaur.
So that part's easy, as the party kind of flies together along the plain. Yes.
When we get
I
there,
would actually volunteer Alona to basically range further since she's fast.
Right. Okay.
So, does she
Oh,
find
right, now
anything
you're-
early?
Sorry. I was just say, oh right, now I remember the light speed discussion where Josh immediately regretted his life choices.
No, where Josh immediately said, "Look, don't be that guy." There's always that one person who's like, "Oh, the system doesn't have anything established. I'm going to go to the immediate extreme."
I'm not the extreme. I just want to be faster than everyone else by a decent amount.
Yeah, she doesn't have Nemesis right now. It's okay.
Yeah.
I am not cheating when I use Nemesis. You gave it to me.
But that's fine. That Alona can have a docketed narrative speed of slightly faster than everyone else, more faster than everyone else, is fine. That's okay. It doesn't affect narrative at all in the long run. Unless someone decides that they want to narrate challenging her to a race. Anyway,
No takers.
No takers.
Well, we could trip her up. Just saying.
In theory, Fizzle could do it. She just feeds more fuel into the wings.
Well, that's not important. So the scene is, well, it is important, but not at this moment. It's not important.
No races right now. So
no races right now, so we don't need to discuss it. So, scene is basically Alona is out ahead scouting. You can see her in the distance a little bit, like this little spark of color-changing light that flits back and forth, looking at things as you head down the river. Down below, you see the dinosaurs basically doing what they do. Circle of life happening.
Mm-hmm.
Occasionally.
Wait. So, lots of animals fucking while being eaten.
I was gonna say, like, maybe a D-moose comes to take a drink from the riverbed and ends up a reptile's lunch.
Or it could be the pteranodon's chicken.
That's a very large crocodile.
A giant saber-toothed ape holds up a saber-toothed tiger cub to the sun.
Okay, so on the note of that crocodile thing, if Malgarian sees this shit, he's gonna look at Tedrix.
Why don't you have one of those?
I like.
And I will be that motherfucker right now. I'm going to invoke your ass, but I will give you a fucking fate point if you go to impress the dragon.
Compel is thrown.
Oh.
Do you accept the compel?
I do accept the compel.
Okay, hand him your fate point, Matt.
Okay.
I will land the pteranodon.
You have 5 fate points to get this. If you fuck up taming this this fucking crocodile,
Also, let me very quickly do this. There we go. So we're entering more of a plains area, and you're by a river. So
and I'm blue.
And yes, you're by the river, so blue, and you're entering a plains area, so white. The jungle's still there, so green doesn't get affected, but white, black, and red take a hit.
Are any of us black and red?
There's a couple red mages in the group, yes. No black though.
isn't it just Fizzle and Mulgarian?
Yeah, Fizzle and Mulgarian.
But it's okay, I'm also a blue mage.
Well, technically I'm both too, but on mine it's just strictly blue.
So let's put the spotlight on Teedrix. You've watched this massive just crocodile thing.
Eat one of the D-mooses?
Eat one of the D-moose. Just drag it underneath the water. Can't make a convincing crocodile noise.
There it is.
Yeah, that was less of a crocodile noise, and
probably what
and
the
more
D-moose sounded like when he died.
I was gonna say somebody with severe allergies trying to breathe.
That doesn't sound like my father.
That's because your father sounds like he's asphyxiating, not like he has allergies.
So, Teedrix shoots down towards the riverbank. What does Teedrix do?
I am going to unleash the pterodactyl.
Okay.
Or pteranodon, whatever. Just as an off chance, have I hung out enough with this pteranodon to be able to summon one, if necessary?
You've been pretty intimately around it for about 48 hours. I'd say that's probably enough time to do a basic summon of it.
All right, then I'll let it go.
Okay.
And now it's time to attempt to leash the crocodile and then ride it with pleasure.
Okay.
Shut up, Matt. I'm already saying it.
I hadn't even said anything yet. Cassie was in the background though, going like, "Ooh."
So Teedrix surveys this river. The part of the river where you just watched the thing get dragged under is muddy, obscured. It's a very wide river, but all of it over it is just kind of this placid blue. You can't really see where that crocodile is, where it's gone to.
Well, I'm okay, not seeing where it is. I'm wondering if I can heat the water up to try and get it to come out.
Maybe.
You know what? Why not? I'll try. So I'm going to, well, I don't know, with the ether, because that's how blue does direct damage. Will it heat up water like that, or?
Probably not.
Shit. I'm just trying to think on how I can get it. Oh, well, it would just be a summon, so you know what? I'll summon a pteranodon.
Okay.
And have it be right by the water's edge. Hopefully that will lure that fucker out so I can tame that.
All right, so you're attempting to summon a simulacrum of the previous pteranodon. Makes me a spell shapens.
Spell shaping.
Yep.
Do I forget. Do I get to put in the bonus?
Yes, you do.
The
The plus one.
sweet.
Or
Or whatever whatever the rank is at.
yeah, it's at 1 right now, so you get a 1. And
No, but because I have it at good.
right, you just hit the button to roll on it, and then put in when it asks for a modifier.
Oh,
put in
1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see that
2.
roll.
2.
2.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Maybe it's because it's your first time summoning it. It's not as good of a result. It's passable.
Well, you know what? As long as it serves as effective bait, I will. I will wait
Yeah.
to see if it comes out.
Like you
And I
look
bet
at this Pteranodon, you're like, I don't think I did it right. That doesn't look like a very good Pteranodon.
Well, then I guess when the crocodile eats it, it'll be a mercy killing.
Why does your Pteranodon have 7 eyes?
But anyway, yes. So
Why
so you
does
have this
why does my
slightly-
I was gonna
Pteranodon
say
have
you also have
rickets?
fate points.
No, I'm gonna pitch this. It's
You have a
He does-
bajillion fate points, yeah.
yeah, he does have
I
fate
know.
points that he could re-roll and add a +2 to it. +2 would get you a straight success because I was gonna give it a difficulty of 4. I forgot as DM to set difficulty before you rolled. I'll get better at that, I promise.
You know what? Why not?
Okay.
I have 5 of them.
Yep. So do you want to do a +2 or a re-roll?
I'll just do a +2.
Okay. So the Pteranodon comes out perfectly instead. It doesn't have any derpy eyes or
Rickets.
or rickets or unusual patterns. I'm just gonna give it really derpy eyes and like a bleh face. But you know.
Ho po!
But no, it comes out fine. You have it sit down by the water's edge. You take a minute.
And yep, and now we play the waiting game. I'm pretty sure since nobody else said that they were stopping while I did this, that they're all gone.
We'll cross that bridge when we get back to the flying scene. But a good thought to be thinking on, party, while this is going on. So you sit there. Takes about, I'd say about a good 5 minutes of wait.
So the D-Moose was like a chicken nugget.
No.
He wants another one.
This is a different I guess it's now called a crocolisk because Matt's named it.
Just like I named the D-Moose.
Exactly. The crocolisk dives out of the water, and you realize just from its markings, this is a different one than the previous one.
Okay.
But it snaps down on your pterodactyl and starts to drag it underneath the water.
Oh, how am I going to do this?
I figured you had a plan when you bait.
Normally, in fact, yes, laying bait would in fact imply a plan.
Leap of faith, T-Trix, leap of faith.
Yes, leap into the water. Into its mouth. Yeah.
What?
How big? What is?
On the Pteranodon.
So
and
how?
then you jump on its face.
How big is this thing?
Gigantic.
No, not gigantic. Hang on. Let's see here. Cabasuchus. It's 11 feet long.
Oh, I can maybe do this.
Here, I will post a picture of what this thing looks like at 11 feet long.
Yep.
Post a couple of them.
Go for it.
Is that what it actually looks like?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Dude, that's actually kind of short for, like, a crocodile.
Yes, but these things jump.
Yes, they do.
Okay, I think what I am going to do is I am going to use my leash,
Okay.
finagle it around its neck, and then wrap it around the biggest tree I can find and hope to God that works.
A solid plan.
No, not really, but it's the only one I got.
Okay.
Sometimes the truth hurts.
So we're gonna make this a conflict, a conflict of rolled dice.
Okay.
So you're trying to leash the thing, right?
Yes.
Okay. I think. Which of your skills would that be? Would that count
Riding?
as riding? I think, yeah, let's... You're gonna go riding against this thing's athletics.
Shit.
Yeah.
Yes, because God, this is gonna suck.
Okay. So roll that riding, and then I will roll my athletics to defend.
Oh God. Don't hate me right now, computer.
A
Oh
3.
hey. Nice.
Let's see how he goes. He gets a 2.
Did I just win?
Yeah, it is now
Da, da,
lashed.
da, 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 ba, 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 ba,
However,
Wow.
You've lashed it, and now you're running for the tree, right? Kinda
Yeah.
trying to get it around the tree and hold and have it lashed there by the tree so it can't go back in the water, right?
Yep.
Okay. That one is going to be an athletics check on you, contested against a difficulty of 2.
Come on. Don't hate me still.
Don't fuck up.
Okay, you succeed. Describe your success.
Aside from the elated joy that I didn't screw this up without having a plan in place beforehand. So I managed to get the energy leash around him, run around a tree, and I am just holding on for dear life, I might even try and use others. Well, I don't know how long leash could get. I don't want to say it's like rope.
Yeah?
But I'm gonna try and get I'm gonna try and get the leash tied around things to where I can at least try and tame the beast.
Okay.
So once,
well, with your athletic success, you do get that. Like you ran around the tree, pulled it tight, tied it off.
okay, so now I am how do I? I never thought about how they charm animals.
Huh?
I thought it was just your leash that did it.
I thought it was through magic. Yeah.
Okay, then. Oh, that's right. I think we did say it was through. Sorry, it's been a while since we talked about this. All right, so then I'm gonna go try and charm the beast.
Because if I remember when we first described it with the pteranodon, basically you leashed it and then like jumped on top of it, and like in Riders of Icarus.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like Raiders of Icarus.
I've never played Riders of Icarus.
I thought you played that with us. Basically,
Nope.
to tame the animals, your character would like summon up a spell in his hand, jump on the thing's back, and as the thing was like struggling around, they'd like Vulcan mind meld with it.
Oh, that's right. That's what we did do.
Yeah. So you got it restrained.
Yep. Then that's. I'm gonna thrashing wildly.
You're probably thrashing a little bit, death rolling back and forth as it's got your simulacrum of a pteranodon like firmly in its jaws. It's not at this point. It's like a broken bird. It's just like a bundle of leathery wings wrapped around its mouth as it death rolls back and forth.
Well, as long as it's death rolling, trying to kill that and trying to get out of the leash, I'm gonna run up to its head. I'm not gonna try jumping on its back since it's rolling.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna try and charm the fuck out of him.
Okay.
I'm gonna summon up the spell, but I
hit a spell shaping.
Spell shaping.
And the difficulty is gonna be 4 on this one.
Ouch. Nope.
No, 0. All right. You can invoke one of your aspects and narrate for me a little bit, and for a reroll. Or more difficult, if you could find a way to invoke 2 aspects, you can burn 2 fate points for this and get a +4. But either way, I'm gonna need some narration on what he does.
If
I know, I'm thinking.
I just wanted to point out for those in the audience who can't mouse over things, you rolled a minus on all 4 dice.
He did. Here, I'll even.
That's.
Pull that up there.
That entertains me.
Right there.
Hey Josh, can I have a minute if you want to focus on them for a little bit? That would be nice.
In the meantime, I'm watching this debacle.
Okay.
Damn it.
Yeah. Let's move to the thing. So, Amatry is sitting there watching. Is there anyone else who hasn't moved on? Where did the party go when this all went down?
Well, eventually, Alona will be like, time to head back to him. I thought they'd be further than this. Keeps going back.
Well, we're connected again. I forgot to narrate that she did that, but...
I'm taking it as a given at this point. Are you out on the field with no need of privacy? Yeah, you're probably all mind blamed.
She comes back. Is he having fun?
I really can't tell.
I don't know if he is, but I sure am.
I'm watching what he's doing, though. It's fun. Popcorn?
She looks at you like, what's popcorn?
I hold out a little, she's got like a little snack pack. Okay, so I said she packed food. She packed snacks.
She takes one of the offered munchie items. I'm not sure I understand the appeal, but thank you for the offer.
Just out of character for a moment. Talking about like interfering with the natural progression of this plane. If Ametrine taught these people what corn was, you would advance them an entire age. Or at least one tribe an entire age.
No, not teaching them what corn is, just hard alcohol.
Okay.
Gotta have our priorities here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's Fizzle's job to ruin their plan.
And this is why Teedrix doesn't like being with.
Bulgarian probably like landed behind the group as as gently as he can and all that, and he's probably just sitting on his haunches watching, like, just like just thinking to himself instead of into the mind meld and all that. Like, I was just attempting to a friendly antagonism. I didn't think that we needed to stop for this, but you know what? I'm not going to argue with it. I'm just confused as to why the Beastmaster is
attempting.
I
to
don't know what
master
he.
the beast.
Well, we'll just learn. Like because he's having to look at it from like the what he knows and what he's seen in places and whatnot. And so while he's probably seen like magically taming of things before and whatnot, he's watching this kind of like, while I get that he's the Beastmaster, but what in the world is he doing?
Gotta catch 'em all.
I don't know what's going on.
Ah, there we go.
Okay, Josh, I think I can get the +4 and be perfectly justified.
Okay.
Okay, under the whole thing of my mistakes haunt me. Since I never really fleshed out how he trained to be Beastmaster, I'm thinking something maybe possibly horrible happened when he was first learning how to do this.
Okay.
And combining with I seek to impress the dragon, I can't fuck this up.
Okay. Narrate. What do we see transpire as he reaches this?
I think first he's instead of bravado, now it's gone into panic, and he's like, no, 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 no. And so, and he's gonna summon that ball of energy again. He's not getting too far away from the beast because he doesn't want it to get away.
Okay.
And he's gonna take that blue energy sphere and just cram it into his fucking brain.
Okay.
Submit, damn it.
So everyone sees Teedrix apparently panic a little bit. And then just
I think his eyes go wide as well, like, no.
All right. But yeah, that's
Like
success.
Vegeta?
What's that?
Like Vegeta.
Oh.
No.
So yeah, you succeed. What happens to the Caposuchus as you cram that little ball onto the top of its head? What's it do?
Well, if it's charmed, then it would probably calm down around with the leash around its neck. So probably it with the Pteranodon being dead, does it vanish or?
Yeah.
Because I don't know.
Poofles out into blue ether. And
okay, because I wasn't I couldn't remember if it was like an illusion or if it was like an actual.
It's a physical creature, but it's just like you just kind of you've made a creature under that out of aether and mana.
Okay.
So it
So
is flesh and blood. It just isn't a real thing.
It was never
doesn't
born.
decompose.
okay, so I'm going to start the whole process of befriending it, doing the whole not loving caress, but the whole petting while I fetch the rest of the leash. While I mentally, well, no, I'm not going to mentally do that since we're all mind linked. But I was about to say, while I mentally flip off everyone else.
You can do that. Go right ahead.
No, I'm not going to.
Okay.
Really, Matt.
To be fair, I'm pretty sure we all went there. He's just the one who put it into words.
I know. Anyway, that's why I was trying to be as specific as possible about what type of petting I was doing. God.
Okay, but yeah, I think that's good. Yeah, you've tamed the beast.
And I am.
Right
Once I
here.
were. Yeah, I'll write it.
Okay.
Algarian, I have one now.
Excellent.
Excellent. You know that was a joke, right? That was
Did
out of
Tedrick
character.
say that?
No,
Okay.
that was out of character. I realized that right after I said it that I should have added that.
That's all good. Yeah, like his everything about his demeanor is like a excellent, like like a non-patronizing kind of good for you, like good. It's much better to have one than not kind of mentality.
And that is making Tedrick very, very happy. He pleased the dragon.
Senpai noticed me.
So, if I might grab narrative again.
Mm-hmm.
So, the Caprasuchus is pretty nimble on the land, and very nimble in the water. Once you get in the water and start sliding there, you also realize this water is literally chock full of these things. There's like some 30 of them. Just sitting there at the very bottom of the lake with their blue scales, just blending in. 30 pairs of eyes watching you like a slab of meat. This realized that you realized that your plan your plan to stay out of the water was probably a really good idea.
Well,
That's
I mean,
what that hidden environmental aspect is that I put there. I was going to replace it with, dear God, that's a lot of eyes.
Well, I mean, it's crocodiles. Even if there's one, I don't want to go in that water.
That's right. But yeah, so the party resumes flying, and with Tedrick's now rafting down the river on his new crocodilian steed.
Hey, you know what? I like my crocodilian steed. I shall name him Chompers.
Now we need to go get you a Triceratops and name it Sarah.
Chompers von Scalebottom III.
But anyway, it's about, I'd say, getting to be afternoon by the time you reach the plains. This is a stark contrast to the mountainous area that you were before, because the elevation is dipped, the sun is high, and there's not as much trees to block out the heat. So it has a balmy, warm wind that makes flying a lot easier, actually. Fills your wings, or those of you that have wings, with a nice thermal current.
Yep, and I'm on the ground.
Mhm.
I imagine
Over
that
the water.
Ilona is still flittering about, scouting places.
Yep. Kind of going, ooh, that one looks dangerous. Ooh, that one doesn't seem so bad. Oh, shit! You hear this running commentary in your heads.
And now that the trees are much lower, being out of the forest, you also can see these gigantic long necks, like, along the horizon line, kind of ambling about, eating the lower trees and the small, like, glades that they grow in. But with such a nimble little scout as Ilona, eventually you do see, like, this big... It's a bowl of high grass and dust. And you can see these, like, big dinosaur foot-sized craters in the ground, like, compacted in the mud. And you notice that around the proximity of the area, this little bowl, there's a lot of these long necks, these titan scales, as they were called, or scale titans.
Alright, well, before we do stuff, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go ride one.
Fizzle darts off and goes and sits on a titan scale's head. It is a remarkably passive beast. As Vane's notes had stated, being as big and as tough as it is, it's not really easily scared. Even when you, like, plop down on its head, it doesn't seem to even acknowledge the existence of something so small. And it just keeps moving along. Big stompy feet.
Can I roll something to feel the presence of the stone? Or are we close enough yet?
There's a lot of white man in this area, so it's not really easy to sense the stone.
Hey, giant dinosaur thingy, why don't you show me where your eggs are? No? Not at all? No?
Malgarian is hanging back away from the dinosaur thing so that they do not freak the fuck out when they see him flying in. Actually, you know what? Fuck that plan. I have a better idea. I'm rolling a white mana spell, Josh. I'm shapeshifting.
Okay, roll it. What are you shapeshifting into? That's a good white spell.
And oh crap! It's a 5. I accidentally pressed 2 instead of 1. My bad.
No.
Or is it? No. Either way, it's still a 5. But yeah, Cassie hit it on the head. I'm turning into one of them.
Okay. I'd say that 5's good enough to do that. You probably should have told
Cool
me that.
beans.
You probably should have told me that so I could have set difficulty before you rolled, but...
So I was excited. I'm sorry.
It's alright. So, you turn into one of them. Male or female?
Male.
Male? Okay.
Well, With what we know about the notes, do they get like mated pair aggressive kind of a thing?
From the note, he didn't actually observe them in mating season. But, however,
Okay.
now that you're walking among them, I'll pitch a little scene to you. So, as you kind of, like, join the herd, there's an immediate, like, kind of sense of, like, suspicion. They kind of bray at you, make some gurgle, lizard-like noises, and seem to sidle away. it takes you a few tries of trying to approach a group of these before you kind of get it. They wander in pairs of 3 female, 1 male. And eventually you do find a pair that's just 3 females. They do seem to roam in this pattern. Though they're all kind of in a herd, they stick to these small pods of 4.
Mm-hmm.
And they do seem to have a social structure to them, where it's like males stick with a small group of females. Especially this time of the year, which is apparently breeding time.
Yeah.
Well, Mulgarian's gonna be busy.
Half dragon titan scale. Rah! I am the Mokole Membe.
As cool as that would be to have as a kid for him, I don't think that really helps with that whole trying to cultivate mortal society on this plane.
Why not? It gives them an awesome legend. Anyway, I just
Yeah, just watch out for the winged Titan scale. That one will fuck up your day.
Right. So, yeah, eventually they you notice that maybe that a female will break off from the pod and enter that central ring of the nesting grounds and go down and attend to her eggs. Sometimes you'll notice that there's a small little scrappy beaked dinosaur that attempts to break through the ring of the wandering Titan scales. This is the only small thing that they seem to get very upset about and promptly stomp it.
Like actually stomp it or just stomp at it?
They stomp at it, and if they are successful, they crush it into the dirt. And that thing does not live. If it breaks free, it runs into the nests, largely pursued, and tries to steal an egg.
So, at which point, in everybody else's head, Malgarian just said,
Are you all seeing the little thing interacting with the nests?
Yes. I was totally paying attention.
I see it now.
Iloda, if you would be willing to check where the nests are to see if the zone is actually there. If not, I think we have an idea for what might be our most likely culprit to have taken them.
Sure, I can check. Josh, do I need to roll anything for this?
Notice is a skill.
Okay. And of course, as soon as I move the stupid iPad to get it into position, I lock the damn screen. One moment.
And no one dare T-Drix to tame one of the Titan scales.
I didn't.
Well, yeah, because we know he'll go and try and do it.
Okay.
I already spent a fate point on this.
Dragon does it.
Alright, here's my notice roll.
Okay.
No modifier, correct?
Yeah, and the difficulty I'm thinking you're going for is a 3.
Okay, so just leave the modifier as 0 and hit submit.
Yep. Hey!
Yay.
I forgot
What
to.
is with tonight and you guys hitting the thing exactly on the head? That's like the 6th time that's happened.
Not me.
Okay. On this one, normally I'd let you narrate your success, but I have something very specific in mind for this.
Okay.
Is that all right with you?
Yes.
Okay, so Ilona does happen to find somewhere in the middle nest a nest that's been basically obviously not touched in a long time. As Vane's notes had said, these nests are used on a migratory cycle, and they keep coming back to them every breeding season. This nest looks like it hasn't been used by any of the Titan scales in, decades. It's out of repair. There's no fresh bedding within it. And there's only one egg. Except upon closer, revelation, Alona sees a little glint from it. And you realize that it's not an egg. It's just a stone painted up to look like an egg. And sitting right there, embedded into this rock, is the white stone, just held there. As she's examining it, one of the little thieving bastard egg snatchers kind of looks over, hops up to that nest, lets out a little bird-like chirp, realizes there's no egg smell from this nest, and hops away.
Alona describes this action that she just saw taken to everyone else, and actually tries to get a little bit closer to inspect it by turning herself invisible. Would you like me to roll spell shaping?
Sure. It's a fairly... How intensive an invisibility are you going for?
More like a do not notice me kind of invisible.
Kind of more of a cloak than a full outright improved invisibility.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that'd be a 2. Go for it.
Okay. Five.
Damn, you are super cloaked.
Actually, you use blue, right?
I use blue and green, but blue is for my light effects.
So yeah, that would have been a 6.
Oh yeah, because she's... Oh.
Yeah, because all of your spells have a color to them.
Right, I forgot.
So, yeah.
We still have...
You get the +1 from blue in the area.
Then again, I'm not sure that blue's still in the area. You've left the riverside.
Oh.
So hang on, let me adjust that down again. Boop, there you go.
Oh.
In fact, I'm actually going to put white to bam, because it's the only dominant mana here. Alright, so. But anyway, either way, with a 5, you're super invisible. You are super well cloaked.
Woohoo! And then once she gets closer to the... Excuse me, I'm going to cough for a minute. I'm going to mute.
Go for it. Her lungs are rebelling. Let's make them make a character.
Yes. Once my lungs successfully leave my body and manage to function on their own without me, they may make a character. But until then, I'm still in charge. So,
true.
With her intuitive use of spell shape really more like green mana and blue mana, I'd like to have her basically try and inspect the stone that looks like an egg to see if there's anything special about said stone, magically speaking.
Okay, so you kind of just want to look at the mana around it.
Mm-hmm.
See if there's any enchantments or anything. That's
yeah.
Cool. I'm not even gonna make you roll for that one. There is an enchantment on the stone, and kind of on the nest as well. There's kind of a light preserving spell, so that whatever, it didn't stop most things, the wares of time, but it did extend, kept the nest from collapsing in on itself, or, being disrupted too heavily. Basically just enough to keep its shape and whatnot. The white stone gives off a faint trickle of white mana. Just this faint trickle. And the stone itself seems to have kind of some form of a charm on it, some form of green magic. You recognize it as kind of some form of a charm you'd use to ward off animals from like a camp or something like that. It's a very simple charm.
So, guys, I might have found it. It's the stone that I'm, inspecting. It's kind of prevented the natural things from happening, like, and she goes on to describe the nest doesn't fall in or collapse. The other benefits to it, and that faint trickle of white magic all around it.
That sounds consistent with everything else so far.
Okay, well, she goes to grab it and tries to take it and pick it up. Is she successful?
Yes, she is successful. She picks up the rock. It just comes free. You notice that the gem is very loosely attached to the stone itself.
At that point, in her head, Amatrine's gonna say, they might, if you don't mask the stone, they might see it and panic, or can you just get the mana stone out of the rock?
So I can maybe see if I can erode it a little with some nature. I mean, roots and things break down stones over time.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming another spell shaping?
Yeah, that'd be another spell shaping. I'd say this is a very simple spell. Difficulty 2 will be fine.
Since it's green and just because I have limited visual because of my setup, am I any modifier on that?
No modifier.
Okay. Ooh, not so much. Not so much.
It's a very resilient stone.
Well, that didn't go quite as planned. I'm gonna see if maybe I can cloak it as well as myself.
Okay.
So another spell shaping.
Well, and just as a thing, as a reminder and all that.
Sorry. Okay, not Malgarian. But we can also always just choose to succeed anyway, and you just take some sort of appropriate penalty based on how much you didn't succeed by default.
Yeah, but that's not really a very important thing, so I don't think she'd really take a consequence for succeeding.
Okay. Oh, and I'm sorry, I should have asked. Was the difficulty still 2 to cloak it instead of just try and break the gem out?
Yeah, it was still a 2.
Okay, so 4 this time.
Okay, plus 2 because you used you used blue for that. Okay, right.
Yes.
That's gonna be a hard thing with your character because I'm used to light being a white thing rather than a blue thing, but it's okay. So yeah, 4 is more than enough. You cloak the entire egg. So
and brings it over.
So yeah, you start to float up with it. At this point, Mulgarian, Amatrine, Tedrix, Fizzle, can you each give me a notice check on a difficulty of 3?
Notice?
Yep.
Oh. What the hell? I will die somehow. I'm sure of this.
What?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I gotta get this for the stream. Hang on.
How?
Hang on.
How?
-1.
Because I only have it as average.
-1.
I don't even have any points in it.
I don't have any either. I've just got a mediocre skill.
Mine is. My notice is at 3. Is a good skill. Apparently not.
You rolled all minuses again?
Yeah.
Okay, that's it.
What
the
Never
fuck?
play it again. At least not with Jimmy.
Hold on.
Jimmy, you are banned from dice.
What did you do to RNGesus to make him hate you so?
Okay, question.
What, Cassie?
Can I use my on the hunt aspect to re-roll that?
Yes,
No,
you
it's not
can
on
if
the
you'd
hunt.
like to.
Well,
that's the thing.
Because we are on a hunt for the stone,
Okay,
and she
that's
is
fair.
trying to keep vigilant in general anyway.
Okay, yeah, that's a good justification.
That didn't work.
Didn't work.
Mm.
That reroll did not work.
That was a 0.
That's fine.
Because that.
So, no one notices quite how this goes down, but it does. So, let's actually. So, across the way, because remember how I've been describing these guys are kind of like circling this nesting ground? Across the way, almost diametrically opposed from where Mulgarian is now, you watch as one of the long necks, the Titan scales, suddenly lets out a pained cry, slumps over, and collapses. And the weight of this thing hitting the ground is so much that you feel it to the ground. Tedrix feels it through his Capasuchus mount's feet. Anyone not in the air can kind of feel this thump as it hits the ground.
Whoa.
Oh, shit.
And now we have a zone. And you can see it from where that thing fell. Immediately, panic begins to spread all to these creatures. They all begin to stampede at the same time, as fast as possible away from that body.
Oh, crap.
I'm gonna get off of this one's head and fly.
I was gonna say, Stampede is unfortunate and dangerous until you fly out of the way.
Yeah, guess who can't fly, fuckers?
Grab Tedrix.
You can summon a pterodactyl.
After all the bullshit I went through to get this thing? No.
You can resummon it. Besides, they only last for hours at a time anyway.
We'll remember you after you're dead.
Okay, but you can summon your pterodactyl, and your crocodile could stay leashed somewhere.
It can probably run out of the way faster without you on his back. I don't know. I was just trying to be smartass about the whole, hey, look, we could fly out of the way. I mean, you can't innately fly. You know what? You should have evolved from a better species.
Oh, shit.
Oh my goodness.
Well,
snap.
Let's get down to it. Because, yeah, Fizzle gets off pretty quickly. You have some aid in that regard, considering Flash...
Dirty!
You have some help in that regard, considering that thing is now thrashing its head about. Kind of helps in the whole, let's get off this thing. Mulgarian is currently a wingless lizard. How does this...
Yeah, but to be fair, they're not going to trample me.
No, they're not, because you're the same size as them. In fact, if you don't run, that might be weird.
Whatever.
So your thing is
that's pretty much Mulgarian's plan. He's just going to kind of move out of the way and be like, yeah, you guys have fun freaking out. And then once he's out of danger, he's going to go ahead and change back.
Okay. Okay, so... Matt, then I'm going to make this a bit of a contest.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of these bodies kind of pressing and trying to flee in a direction.
But there were only 3 immediately around him.
3 immediately around him. So I'm going to count those 3 as just one, one like bump into you. Okay, so it's gonna be a duel
Okay.
of physiques. Okay.
Okay. Do I get a bonus due to being gigantic,
Normally.
or do I need to invoke that?
Normally you would, but the thing's of equal size to you, so it evens out, right?
Okay, so as long as they're not getting size related bonus, then okay.
But yeah, they do have a physique of 4 though, so
Yeah, that's my baseline just for the Malgarian stuff too. So
okay, so this is an even contest between the two of us.
woo!
Let's see how this goes. They gets a full. You gets a full. Okay. It is a deadlock.
Let's see. Well, since all I'm doing is trying to not get hurt in the process.
Yeah, you succeed at that.
Woo!
And I'm not even gonna continue with the rolls because normally they'd get like a boost on the next thing, but they're not gonna. That's not gonna be an issue in this, so I'm not even gonna bother with it. But yeah. So yeah, they bump into you and try and push and as they take off. But otherwise, you kind of use your own size and brace yourself, and you don't run. And there's actually a moment where you see where, like, the fact that you didn't run kind of confuses the other 3, because they're like, wait, is there no threat? They kind of halt a little bit, but then, like, notice, like, the smell of...
in response to that, in response to that, I have a thing that Malgarian would do to be an asshole.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna go ahead and roll my spell shaping to change back.
Okay. Okay.
So right in front of them, just Titan scale turns into big thing of light and fire and all that, and shrinks down into his dragon form, and he just roars at them.
They flee in faster.
They are now no longer confused. Well, they're confused, but for different reasons.
Okay. Amatrine, what have you been doing during this whole thing?
I was trying to figure out, like, what I could do.
Uh-huh.
And then there went Malgarian. So she's kind of flying and watching this.
Can I put something at your character?
Okay.
Can you make me one more notice check?
I can try. Better than I've done so far.
Okay.
It was at least a positive number this time.
Hooray!
How do I want to do this? Because there's 2 potential things you could notice. Why not? I notice. You can notice this. There's a person running after the stampede. Tell that it's a lady. Hang on, let me increase the size of this. And take her to the token layer. And she is running after this stampede inhumanly fast.
From my I guess from my flying over the tribes and whatnot, does she look like she's wearing any particular tribe's clothing?
No, she looks like as far as the garb, she's wearing cloth, and that is a dead giveaway that she's probably not of any tribe here.
And so my first instinct is Planeswalker? Question mark?
Potentially.
Yeah, I am. What?
And
what? Oh, not me.
And so when when she sees her and has that first thought in her mind, she broadcasts the image over the mind link and location. Guys, check it out.
With that distraction in the way, Tedrix and Alona, we're gonna have to get to you because that stampede is heading directly at you.
Which one of us first?
You go ahead, Annie.
Okay. Am I overly encumbered by carrying the stone?
It's about 25 pounds, but...
Let's see. I'm going to just try and start by flying straight up. Does this get me clear of the stampede?
These things are very big. I would like... do you have athletics?
I don't recall what I have exactly. So I have athletic at an average, and
Okay.
for some reason physique is at fair.
I'm not sure either. But yeah, if you roll me an athletic to fly yourself, to fly yourself fast enough to get above their
Get
heads.
clears.
Yeah.
Get the
'Cause I don't
clears.
doubt that you could get almost clear, but bridging up the top of those heads that might just flash and try and smack you out of the air is going to be a bit of a conflict. So I'm going to say...
Though I am invisible and I did succeed in cloaking the stone as well, so they wouldn't be trying to aim at me.
Right, that's also true. Should have probably made that a situational aspect, actually. Retroactively, situational aspect with 2 usage. Alona is well cloaked.
So, athletics, no modifier, correct?
Athletics, no modifier.
Okay. 3.
Yep, that's more than good enough. I was gonna say it was like a 2, for considering how fast she's purported to fly. So yeah, you get up over their heads. Tedrix.
For the second time today, my eyes are gonna go wide, and then I'm going to basically instruct the Crocus or whatever the flip he's called is. I'm just gonna tell him Caprasuchus. I'm going to just instruct him to run for safety.
Okay.
So instead of running in the path of the dinosaurs ahead of them, actually dodging to the side, every
Do not go to the Prometheus school of running away from things.
Exactly.
Okay, that would I think would be one of your fortes, Tedrix, in writing. Difficulty 3.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Why are you sorry?
I spaced out there for a second. Yes.
Damn. Finally, Jimmy rolls well. 3.
Yay! When his life is on the line.
You may
I
narrate
know.
your success.
What's funny is that I knew what I was gonna do if he didn't.
Yeah, you may narrate your success, Jimmy.
Well, I'm assuming that telling it to run for safety, he's gonna run try and run ahead of it. I'm going to keep my eyes behind and kind of guide him in between the dinosaurs as they pass, because I'm sure they're going to outrun us.
It's true. You succeeded. You have succeeded with style, so technically you could. You have some options with yourself there.
Well, I was gonna say that since they are gonna be running way faster than us, I'm gonna as they step over, I will try and navigate through legs until we're free.
That's cool.
And no longer in danger.
All right, that works.
So I can fossa, but without dying.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where was that roll when I needed to notice this stupid stampede from starting?
All right, so you've all survived the initial trampling of the stampede.
I'm following that planeswalker.
Okay.
I'm guessing that while I was doing my Fast and the Furious dino riding is when the notice of the potential planeswalker happened.
Yep.
All right, then for simplicity's sake, I'm going to say that Hedrix did not focus on that message. He had other priorities.
Okay.
So I don't think he knows about the person.
Heck, you did succeed with style. You could have technically noticed her while doing your thing.
Hell, you could have chased her.
You could have.
Oh, well, can I change that then?
Go for it.
I will. Once we're free, if I see her, I see her running after the dinosaurs.
Yep.
The long necks or the titans. Sorry. I will ride alongside her and ask, "What is she doing?"
She looks alongside, like sideline look.
What's up? How's it going?
In my head, I'm imagining more like this Kappa-Suit just like drifts over to her, and she's just running along. You actually notice that she's running with like a magical empowerment. There's like Egyptian style like feathered wings coming off of like her ankles and shoulders as she's running.
The way I said it isn't kind of casual. It's more like, "What are you doing?"
And yeah, I figured you yell at her over the sound of like stampeding feet, just like, "What are you doing?" And she casts you like this side-eyed look and speaks in an unusual tongue, which is translated by your spark, as she gestures with her blade towards the corpse trees in the distance and through them a little bit down the way, where you can see a small fire going. On the plains in the distance. Tedrix also noticed something else. Both those scimitars of hers, or her kopeshes,
Yeah.
both are bloody. Fresh bloody.
You're hunting these.
Do you say that out loud?
Yes, just like incredulous, like you're actually hunting these.
She gives you another like, "Is this really the time?" look. And
well, not Malgarian in your.
How much does this woman eat? She's making me feel skinny.
she gives you that "Is this really the time now?" look, and simply goes, "People now, talk later."
And in the head, Amatrine's like, "Not everyone hunts just to eat," in a very, very bitter, angry tone.
Okay.
And they're hunting wrong.
So I'm gonna write down some aspects here. Some environmental effects.
Shit.
So I asked the most loaded question of tonight. What are you guys gonna do?
I will let them. I will let the. I'm gonna with the mental link. Do we actually have like verbal communication, or is it just ideas? I can't remember.
It's all
Both.
it's both.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's whatever it needs
Then
to
I'm
be.
just gonna let him know that there are villagers ahead, and I guess that this person is trying to herd them away from crushing the villages.
Actually, it shouldn't be villages.
Well, and that's what I wanted to
Or the
ask. Like,
village.
is that
Or
what it was? So was it a wildfire and she's trying to chase them away from it? Is it there is a campfire off in the distance?
Well, I would say, considering yeah.
Because if she's already killed one and they're hunting it, why is she chasing the rest of them?
Yeah, I would say since we have so many flyers in the air, you can see in the distance. Technically, hang on, I relied on some language I really shouldn't have. It's not
Well,
villages, it's a tribe. There's like a nomadic setup of tents and people. You'd say about, I don't know, like 100. It's a fairly large nomad tribe that's kind of camped there.
In the path of the stampede, or being, or okay, so this lady creates a stampede and it starts. What?
To be fair,
I wanna step on her.
Change the direction of the stampede.
I didn't.
Oh, I thought you did.
No, he didn't. He just
No, they were stopping to be like, wait, why aren't you running? What the crap? And then he's like, nope, you should probably keep running.
But yes, let's actually take a moment and unpack kind of the fullness of the situation, since the early reactions to it are gone. She or someone else seems to have killed one of the Titansaurs, which triggered the stampede. Now she's trying to seemingly to stop the stampede or to maybe get ahead of it. She's not quite fast enough though. In the path of the stampede is this fairly large nomadic tribe that's bunkered down for their day there. Many potential lives to be lost if this thing charges through their camp. Stampede's kind of heading in a northeast direction, away from the plains. And it's basically crushing everything that's in its way. Like, even the small corpses of trees that they used to eat just barreled over. They give no craps about, these animals give no craps about causing destruction, now that they're running.
Mm-hmm.
So, considering how big did I say they were last time? Like 25 meters tall or something like that?
We weren't. They're a little bit bigger than Malgarian is.
Yeah, like a head taller.
Because you said that they're not Titanosaurs. They're the other ones.
The other ones, yeah. So yeah, that a fairly clear assessment of the situation?
I think so.
But we do not have eyes on what caused the initial problem.
No. It's a fair assessment, though, that it was probably her.
So she created a stampede and then wants to fix the stampede.
Mhm.
I want to step on her.
You might have time for that later.
So, like I put in the chat, I have an idea for what Mulgarian can do to try and fix it, but I want to let anybody else handle it if they want.
Well,
Yeah, well, I would like to try to basically create a wall as a deterrent
okay.
to kind of round them, deter them.
Describe for me
So-
a little more. Like, you want this wall to turn them? So are you going to make just like a flat wall, or are you going to make like a curved wall?
Like a curved wall, so that like as they're going, it's not just suddenly a flat wall right in front of them, but like a curve to direct them.
Okay. Okay. Decent plan.
All right. Do you want me to roll spell shaping?
There was a rule in the rule book about who goes first in situations like this. But if anyone else is Amatrine making anyone aware of this plan, or is she just doing it?
Yeah, she's basically putting that idea in everyone's head of this is what I want to do.
Okay.
Better than my plan.
Wait, what's the plan? I'm sorry.
Basically, she's going to make like a curved earthen wall, hopefully large enough to direct them around and make them move away from this area.
Okay.
Okay? So.
All right.
When she gives the idea of what she's going to do, Malgarian's pretty much just going to throw out the idea that he's going to help make sure that they don't just go around the other end of the wall by pretty much putting himself right there. Because even though they're bigger than him, he has sharper teeth than they do, and so they'll be like, fuck, nope.
So I'm actually going to run this like as a conflict. It's kind of like what we did with Arikari, where you'll be dealing stress and consequences to the stampede as a whole, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And each attempt you do will be counted as an attack, and they will use a skill to defend it. Okay?
All right.
So, Amatrine's good on that?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, basically, it's kind of like on a racetrack. I'm going to be building a curb for them to go this way.
All right. Are you going to call that, and you're going to use magic to do it?
Yes, I'm going to use my elemental bullcrap that I have.
Sounds good. Throw me a roll then.
Okay. Do I have a target number or no?
No, this will be a contested.
Okay. And there is no blue in this area, right?
No, there's no blue in this area.
Bam.
What?
She rolls a 5. Alright. That goes against their physique. To either try and batter down the wall or whatnot. Okay.
Wait, did you GM roll it again?
No, I haven't. Let me hit the.
Oh, okay. Because I was confused with the tone of the okay. I'm like, wait, what? Okay, sorry.
So they have to take a bunch of them actually do get routed away from from where they're running, knocking into a few more in. They take a physical stress. So, since you were the successful one, but yeah, it goes off as you intend. Kind of routes them away, but very quickly they kind of sidle back towards going that way. They've slowed down somewhat, though. That'll be the first dot of physical stress. Okay, and I think Mulgarian had an idea on the ones that kind of didn't get routed by by the wall.
He's pretty much going to do the same thing, but he's going to use his lightning fire breath to coax them away from it, because even if he lights, the foliage on fire and such, he can just put it out with his magic after they're done.
Right, okay.
So he's pretty much going to, strafe along it. So some of them are following the curve, but then some of them, say, went around the beginning point of the wall. Is that what we're going with?
Some of them have broken around the wall, but some of them are continuing to go and went around the other side of the wall.
Okay, so he's pretty much going to strafe in from the direction that they were going to be going, and come in and try and get them to pretty much forming a V. Since most of them are going off to the left, as an example, he's going to come in from that side and then try to force the others to bank to the right. Because if the whole point is just to keep them from the village, then or nomads or whatever.
Exactly.
So yeah, he's gonna pretty much do the strafe, and then after he's finished his breath and whatnot, he's gonna he's going to linger so that they see the other big scary thing.
Right. Okay.
So
does it again be your attack versus their physique?
I'm just not sure which thing to roll for this, because marksman would be if I was actually trying to shoot them with it.
No, I'd still say it's marksman, because you're trying to make an accurate path with your fire breath. So yeah, marksman still works.
Lightning breath.
Lightning breath. Fireworks.
His zappity zap breath.
His zappy zappers. His taser. His don't tase me, bro. Okay. Ooh. That was a bad roll for them. Okay. So that's a total of 4 and a consequence. Mild consequence. Alright. Dang, this is going like Ari-Gari. Alright, what sort of... Matt, help me with a consequence here. They take a mild one.
I'll be right back.
No problem.
Cassie's suggestion in the background. They routed. Or they are routed. I mean, they were routing in the first place. They were already fleeing. We're just trying to give it direction.
Right. We could actually work with that. Normally a stampede follows along the bulls, so routed bulls. Avoid the winged terror. I could do that, yeah. Okay, that's their consequence. Avoid the winged terror. Alright. Does anyone else have an idea? Want to get involved in the dealing of the stampede?
Well, that depends. Are they redirected, or do they need more?
They need more. They need maybe one more hit.
Okay. All right. I got it. I'm going to make up a big illusionary Malgarian. Now we will double the danger.
All right.
Yeah, Cassie's over there like super ecstatic that you came up with that idea, and she's like, "I can do that. Ilona can do that." We could have an entire fucking like combat wing of Malgarians.
So describe to me more of this illusion, Emily. Like, what's the angle with it? Is it going to be like flying overhead or just sitting in the path?
Yeah, since we're trying to direct them in a specific direction, I need it to be in the path.
Okay.
So basically what she's going to do is fly out there, start glitter everywhere. And it's, of course, if it works anyway, it's going to coalesce into a big-ass illusion of Malgarian.
It's a shiny Malgarian.
Yes, it's extra shiny.
What color is it? Because it's shiny.
What?
Cassie's using shiny in the term of Pokemon, where it's an alternate color scheme.
All right. I'm gonna put out a very interesting thing we could do with the synergy here.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know we've actually Malgarian just barely made a consequence on them called Avoid the Winged Terror. Right?
I'll be back.
Uh-huh.
That's an aspect you can invoke for free.
Sweet.
Any of the environmental aspects or campaign aspects or anything, you can technically invoke for free. Or for a fate point. Consequences are free.
Okay.
If I remember right. Cassie, am I remembering right? I don't think Cassie's here.
Question.
Hold on one second. Having news about babies.
Oh.
Babies.
So,
kind of important.
Yes, go ahead, Annie.
Am I encumbered to the point where I would not particularly be able to help, or am I slowed down because like I was in the middle?
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what my positionally what I'm going to be able to do.
Honey, you're a magical action hero. You can fly as fast as you need to engage in the action scene.
Okay.
I wouldn't say that you're encumbered enough to stop you from getting involved in some way, shape, or form now.
Okay, just checking, because I didn't want to be presumptive.
Yeah, technically, in the way that fate works, I normally set up lots of zones. Like, right now we only have one, so everyone's involved in that one zone. If there's multiple, you can use your action on that turn, on your narration point, to narrate yourself moving from zone to zone. But that's just kind of the thing. Like, the best way to put it in Fate is you can do one thing on your turn. Just one.
Okay.
And you can move as far as you need or whatever you need within that zone to make the thing happen that you're trying to achieve.
Gotcha. I mean, so yeah, then I would be probably picking up on the general plan of scare them away with the the powers of I put an illusion in front of you.
Okay.
Shall I go ahead and make my roll, or?
We're currently doing Fizzle's thing.
Okay, sorry.
So yeah, Emily. Even if that's not the rule this time, I'm gonna say it's the rule this time. Consequences are a free invoke.
Okie dokie. So if I'm doing that, is that like a modifier or?
wait and roll, because you don't want to have to invoke something if you don't need it. So,
Fair enough.
So yeah, roll your spell shaping for your illusion. Okay, that's a 3. We're gonna roll their will, which, considering they're a bunch of frightened, stampeding animals, is very low. Okay, so they take 3 stress from that alone, which is enough to put them into a mild mental consequence. Technically, you could upgrade them to a mild consequence if you invoke the avoid the winged terror consequence and add a +2 to that. If you want.
Do I want to do that? I mean, is that a good thing to be doing?
That would upgrade their consequence from mild to moderate, which is basically would take them out of the fight.
Okay, then let's do that.
It would mean that they'd have only 1 consequence left to take.
Yeah, well, either way, that sounds good. Let's do that.
So what do you want to call your moderate consequence?
I don't know.
Huh? Let's go back to the purpose. The purpose was to drop a scary Mulgarian illusion to route them a little more.
Right, basically help herd them.
Yeah.
Something about sheepdogs?
Something about sheepdogs. You want to have like the illusion be chasing them and that be their consequence? We can work that, yeah. Pursued by the dragon sheepdog?
Sure. There we go.
Okay, that's great. And that would take us to Alona.
Yay!
The stampede does seem in a great deal of disarray. It is all over the, like, what was once a one single solid charging line is now in a disarrayed series of tendrils all over. There is only one big column still heading, or one column of these titan or scale titans heading towards this tribe.
Okay.
All right. I apologize.
It's okay. We're almost done.
So basically, Matt's sister-in-law and
But let's get to it not on recording time because it's already 10. We have Jimmy has to sleep eventually.
And so the babies. Okay. So Alona will head off and come alongside them so that she can continue to try and veer them in the same direction that we have moved the others. Trying to think what's going to... we've seen some like T-Rexy type things, like, right? Like that should... Trying to imagine something big that would scare them, because of the way I've envisioned the use of my powers, I don't do hard light. I just do like more illusion and light spectrum-y things.
Right.
So, and I'm trying to basically tap into what should be their sort of primal sight things. Yeah, fears on sight.
Right.
So that's the kind of illusion I'm aiming to make, which I think is going to be like a T-Rex type predator.
Right. Okay. So like kind of like what you've seen on Vane's walls, like the thing that that all of the people keep calling like the dagger fangs and things like that.
Yeah, unless they are more scared of velociraptors, because pack hunting is a scary thing.
No, they're not that scared of little things.
That's kind of what I thought, given their size. So sharp tooth it is. That's what I'm rolling for. What is my goal?
Well, this will be opposed by their will. This is actually a conflict between you and the stampede.
Cool. Cool. I'm just going to roll then, and no modifier, correct?
Nope, no modifier. 5?
I roll a 5.
Their terrible little will score. Yep. That's a 3. That gets you their last consequence, which means they do have to concede.
Yay.
Which I think the goal here is pretty obvious, right? Like,
yeah, get them to not run into the, like, villagers, people, tribe that's, you know, out on the side of the plane.
All right. Do you feel the need to name your mild consequence you've inflicted upon this stampede?
Probably additional hysteria.
Additional hysteria. Nice, I like it. Okay, so with that, the stampede comes around. They do have to concede, so you win. And the goal has been pretty obvious. Like, what was a very strong charging line has now been broken into many, many small things that are going around the camp and heading off in numerous directions. At this point, like, the lady who's been running alongside Tedrix the whole time kind of stops and looks around and goes, "You're all Planeswalkers."
No duh.
Well, it's kind of dawned on her. It's like the first time she's had a chance to listen to her spark and actually, like, realize, holy shit, these people are Planeswalkers.
Do I look like a native?
And she's looking at Tedrix as she says this.
Oh, wait.
Yes, we're Planeswalkers.
At that, she says no more, and she actually starts moving towards the camp. So yeah,
Do I even need to bother rolling spell shaping to put out the fires?
No, we can say that's part of the finished the thing. Yeah, you put out the fires. So yeah, she's heading towards the camp. She passes by Mulgarian putting out fires, which he has no problem doing.
And Tedrix is just
keeping an eye on her.
Yeah.
But
so,
my face is set. I'm kind of bitter right now.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey. What are you doing?
Fizzle actually is like now like in proximity to her.
Yes.
I'm going to go see if those people are okay. And then I'm going to go back about my business.
Which was chasing giant dinosaurs into them to begin with?
That wasn't my intention.
That wasn't your intention?
Oh, God. I think as that conversation goes on, Tedrix is just clenching his jaw even tighter.
Mulgarian's gonna, with the fire taken care of, fly over and land behind Fizzle and just push into her mind, like, just pretend I'm your summon.
He's technically right. He can't tell which of you are Planeswalkers and which of you aren't. For all he knows, Mulgarian, she is literally just Fizzle summon.
So...
Yes, it
what was your intention?
Just to hunt one of... She looks a little sheepishly, just to hunt one of them. I just needed the meat.
That's a lot of meat.
I just didn't know that that one falling would cause the rest of them to react that way. They seem
oh my God.
Unconcerned.
That was very silly of you. I mean, They're not exactly predators, so...
Do you not have herd animals where you come from?
She considers it. I'm certain there were at one point. I haven't seen one in my lifetime.
Oh. Sounds like your realm is wonderful. Please return to it now.
We're not the police. You can't make her do stuff.
I said please. This was not a demand. It was a request.
Can point out that was really kind of dumb. Should probably try to do better next time. Or not, whatever. It's none of my business. I'm just here for fun.
Why do you need so much meat?
She kind of just looks over at it. Well, first off, she points at Alona. I will, as soon as I get what I need to do done. And then she looks at Ametrine. I have a lot of people to take care of. But we don't have ample sources of food. Just that creature will feed us for the next 2 years. Properly prepared.
Seems legit. I'm convinced.
Except...
Hey. Don't get lippy. You're just a summon right now.
She cracks a brow.
No, he's not.
Biological matter cannot travel between the planes. That is what makes Planeswalkers unique. You have killed an animal, you cannot return home.
And almost killed a tribe in the process.
Let me worry about that. I have a method.
Really?
Well, if you have managed to break the rules of planar boundaries and the Aether Sea between them, this seems somewhat important in our best interest to actually learn about.
Yeah.
Ooh!
What the
We're
summon
sharing
said.
information? Cool.
Will it form an adequate apology if I explain, and will it get you all off my back?
Yes.
Potentially.
And if it doesn't get us off your back, we'd at least help you a little bit. Let's be serious, guys.
I don't know. Malgarian's kind of pissed.
Oh, Tedrix is furious.
Have you met me? I'm never serious.
What are 4 or 5 planeswalkers? She points up at the dragon. Are you a planeswalker? She called you a summon. Are you a planeswalker?
Don't answer that.
I've never been a summon that talks.
So he had been opening his mouth to say something, and he was going to say like, "I am simply a true summon" or some such or whatever. But then like he started with like and then he said, "Don't answer that," and he's like, "Son of a bitch!" So he just closes his mouth, and he's going to nod towards the pixie, like it just kind of shrug, like the summoner person said.
That's right.
But he's gonna put that what he was going to say. He's going to say in Fizzle's head, like just tell him I'm what's called a perfected summon. It is a duplicate of the original.
I have perfected summoning. I'm amazing.
Oh my god.
We're going to do a little contest on this one.
Roll your bullshit skill?
Yeah.
Alright.
get? Do you have a what was the bullshit skill again?
Deceive.
Roll your deceive. Versus, I think it's empathy for her, right? Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, because empathy would be understanding people's emotions and all that jazz, right?
Yes, I believe it's also one of the main mental, like... Yeah, but you also read emotions to discern a lie. Like, are they acting shifty?
You're discerning with empathy in that scenario how genuine a reaction is the emotional tell.
Well, hold on.
You know what? I have a Facebook right in front of me.
Yeah, Cassie has a Facebook right in front of her. I'm trying to remember where I fucking installed mine.
Yeah, I'm trying to... I have mine right here, too.
Yeah,
Or,
I was just
even
curious
better,
if there was.
I have the game's resources right here, so...
Yes.
Yes, I do. Planeswalker...
It is empathy.
It's empathy. Okay, so your deceive versus her empathy, go.
Okie dokie.
Minus
Oh,
one.
shit.
Let's see what she gets. 2. Okay. She get. But
Do you wanna fate point that shit?
I was gonna say, can I invoke your pain, right?
Yeah, you can do that, girl. Sure. So how do you work that into the narrative to invoke it?
I'm imagining this ends up more into like a fast talking, so she just starts talking, keeps talking.
Okay.
Until she comes around to exactly what she's saying.
So she's trying to do some confidence man fast talk. Okay, I can see that. Yeah.
Alright, that's a fate point for you, yes.
Yep.
Or
throw it in the pool.
Into the pool. And then what was that? Is that a reroll? Is that a...
You can either pick to do a reroll or a +2. +2 I don't think will get you anything.
No, it's not gonna get me.
Yeah.
Alright, I guess I'm gonna have to try.
Just don't roll 3 minuses this time.
Yeah.
I still don't make it.
Emily!
What?
What the shit?
You normally roll so good. Anyway, it's fine. She despite the fast talk, she
But glitter is useful.
Yeah, she kind of cuts you off with a hand, and it's just like, it's okay. It's okay. I get it.
Well, good. I'm glad you got it.
She also points up at the dragon. You can go back to talking. Like, she didn't convince me at all. Okay, I'm gonna keep up the act. Cool. So I'm gonna go see if those people are okay. Because it was my mistake. And then you'll meet me at the carcass, and I'll show you what I do. Alright?
Sounds good.
Okay.
To the carcass.
I'm going with to see if the people are okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna go ride the carcass.
The dead dinosaur.
Gross.
Okay, well...
Necrophilia is not my thing, sorry.
I mean, can they consent? Is that even applicable?
I love that
Well,
Annie
if
made
somebody
that joke
remandated...
too. I mean,
let me just study up some black magic first.
Yeah.
So, no,
Dude, I want one of these things turned into a vampire.
I have to suck the blood of 40 tons of people every day. Blah. Yeah,
anyway. And extinction. Everything dies.
Yeah.
Because they only suck the blood of, other Titan things.
But yes,
Well,
you notice
it's still
that
an extinction.
that this planeswalker does seem, but Ametrine does go with her to apologize, and she does seem very apologetic. Not apologetic. What's the word?
Sincere.
Remorseful?
Yeah, she does seem very sincere in her remorse that she didn't mean to actually cause a stampede. She didn't mean to have these people, come at her threat. But thanks to your guys' quick response, she didn't actually have to do anything.
To repair her fuck up? Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of. Well, she could have. I did stat her to do it, but you guys did it before she had a chance. Anyway, but yeah, about 30 minutes later, she returns to the body and gets.
Hold on a second, I need to finish typing
on
a
her
thing.
way back, Ametrine's going to be asking questions about her plane.
Okay, let's hear specific questions.
So, what happened? Why is there no food on your plane?
She kind of like pinches at her brow. If we're going to be doing this,
Hold on, I couldn't hear you over Matt's typing.
it's okay. If
Alright,
we're
go ahead.
if we're going to be doing this, can we at least have names? I'm the scion of Shamlot. Hang on, actually, make sure I get the name right. I've always had trouble with this name. Samut. I'm the scion of Samut, or just simply Samut, if you'd like. And you are
Ametrine.
Why there's no food on my plane is a long story. I should say that there is food, but it only is obtainable at great risk.
She nods as though saying continue.
Many years ago, my plane was attacked by an individual who we were led to trust as our god. And in the process, he destroyed everything. And what people could survive were led by Samut the First into the desert alongside our one remaining god, all others killed in the conflict, into the wastes. There is not a lot of food that is not tainted by dark magic, mutation, necrosis, and as generations have passed, there's more and more mouths to feed every year, and less food to do it. I've had to take to walking the plains to gather food for my people.
How long have you been doing this?
I am the 5th Samut.
I mean, you in particular.
Me? Since my spark awakened? About 5 years ago.
Scrub.
Not everyone can be a dragon, Matt.
I could have been playing a character that was doing this for 3 decades just as a human.
It's true.
I mean, let's be honest, Malgarian's soul is that of an angry old man anyway, so...
So angry. So angry. And
he just wants all his kids to get off his lawn. That's all.
Ametrine looks as though she's trying to figure out how to word something.
As she seems to notice this and simply says, if you're going to say something, just say it. It doesn't matter if it's blunt.
If you need food, would it not be wiser to see how the natives take down their prey first?
I observed these creatures for a number of days. They didn't react to anything else. They seem uncaring towards both predators, both large and small, and I did not believe that a single outlier falling would trigger that form of a reaction.
I mean, how the people hunt. They do not hunt for these larger animals because perhaps they've figured out that it has that reaction.
I suppose there's some wisdom in that.
I mean, since you can move, the flesh through the plains, you should be able to even hunt several smaller prey and then bring them back.
There are limitations to the method. I'll show you what I mean. And about this time, I think they get back to the spot. Unless Amatrine has any additional questions.
No, it was basically watch what the people do because they probably do it for a reason. If somebody doesn't hunt a creature, there's probably a good reason for it.
Sure enough.
Also, that's how you find out if something is
pointed out at this that
poisonous.
I don't think that any of the native people have the weaponry to take on a creature that large. They can barely handle the large predators, from my observations.
There's still that, you don't know for sure if it was a poisonous creature, if they knew that happened when one fell and that's why they avoided hunting them. I'm not saying that it was that you're always going to know what's going to happen by watching them, but there's less risk in hunting when you see how the natives do it, when you're on a different plane. Less risk of fucking something up for them.
And in all things when interacting with another plane, not just hunting.
So, I do think at this point they're back.
Yep, which is why I was totally fine with Malgarian saying that out loud.
Oh, so he's back to talking. Wonderful. Now then, help me. No, don't help me. This is my burden. I will deal with it. And she begins to carve off some of the flesh of the leg of the thing.
But I want to help.
If you'd like to help, then help. But I'm not going to ask for your help.
Fine then.
She already did.
Yeah, whatever. Either way.
I was just being petty, yes.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, she lays down kind of like a tarp of canvas and starts to carve out fairly large strips and steaks of this meat. And then start laying out the meats that she acquires. Once she thinks that she's got a sizable enough pile of this stuff, she works she pulls a small It's about the size of like a marble. It's just a steel, like almost like a ball bearing. Is what it looks like. She sets it down on the ground and she works some magic over it. You see her working white over this thing. But it doesn't seem to really matter because it's just powering the thing. As this small little ball bearing size silver ball expands into a metallic orb, I'd say about the size of a beach ball. And she opens it up. You see some kind of Egyptian style, like hieroglyphics phase over the thing as it opens up to the top, like becoming a semicircle. And she picks up the tarp of the meat and she loads it inside. To my understanding, these are called orbs. You can place organic matter within it, and it will be protected from the ether as it travels. The downside is, however, you cannot planeswalk with one active on your person. You have to send it through the ether manually, which can take depending on where your plane is in the ether, years to decades. While matter like this, food is kept static within it, people have a lifespan. They die before they'd reach another world. Perfectly undecomposed, but not living. We've tried that.
One generation of reduced population is not something that is impossible to recover from, and saves your entire species from a continued torturous existence. Sometimes it is easier to rip off the bandage. Not having the willpower to... As a planeswalker, I do agree that you must know what you are doing, you must show restraint and not act without knowing what you must do, and how to do it properly. But you are functionally in the same position as the people native to this plane, struggling to survive, barely able to fend off the basic predators of your own realm.
So let me...
What is your home plane called?
Amon Cat.
I knew it.
Algarian's going to make a mental note of that a little bit.
Yeah.
And I would like to make... Oh,
so
go ahead.
Let me actually understand a little bit what he meant. So are you saying that like they should have tried to send people in the orbs anyway?
Because as it was explained, it doesn't kill you. It's just the fact that it can take, even a couple of decades. Well, if you put somebody in there as a teenager, you're as far as anything goes, you're functionally in stasis. Yeah. You'll just arrive older rather than starved to death.
No, the thing that she's specifically trying to state is like a human lifespan is not long enough for the orb to be effective. It could take it depends on where your world is and where the world you're traveling to is. Think about like space flight.
Yeah, but at the same time, pretty much anywhere than where they're at is better. So even if it's just somewhere nearby. so that it takes less time.
They don't, and that's the thing. What she's not saying is that they don't have the resources, like they don't have the mage work available to discern where a nearby world would be. She does because she's a planeswalker. She can basically like use her spark to target her world and throw the orb at it.
Yes, and the gist of what Malgarian was trying to go for is, I was going to try and culminate all of that in a rapport roll with, I would rather teach for a better tomorrow than to regret the mistakes of yesterday, and pretty much say, yeah, instead of, being the gopher running the perpetual Band-Aid fix to the problem, maybe you, as a planeswalker, should start getting your A game on and fucking deal with it permanently.
Yeah, find a permanent solution for your friend, for your people.
Mm.
But Teedrix, that'd be interfering. You'd be dropping an entire population of refugees on a world that doesn't have them.
Oh, snap.
Hey, by the way, I'm dropping a fate point to rapport this into their noggin.
Okay. So make your rapport roll. Versus her. God damn it, that's a...
I keep fucking with all the NPCs.
Yeah, you do.
Holy shit!
Yeah. Considering he also threw a fate point in advance, so that's a 10.
No, that's with the fate point.
Okay.
Hell, it's 10:30. At this point, use them or lose them.
That's right, that's true. But yeah, she seems to get it. She kind of visibly slumps and sits down. I kind of... Yeah. Samut the First was a questioner of ways.
Well, hey Josh, just so you know, well, I don't exactly know, because what I didn't mean for teachers to say that. Because Cassie's getting all bitchy with the OO comments.
It's not bitch. She's teasing.
It's late. It's bitching.
Besides, we're planeswalkers. Everything about our continued existence is hypocrisy.
It's true.
I mean, like, the whole Crisis on fucking Two Earth shit is pretty much the gist of the Planeswalker story.
Right. But anyway, yeah, she kind of slumps down. And in a way, you are right.
In more than one, but carry on.
Samut the First was a questioner of ways. That was her legacy and her legend. And I'm not entirely certain I can live up to that legend, though I bear the same name. And the same role.
Well, your choices are to decide that you are not up for that and then be guilty of apathy, or you can be guilty of trying.
This is true. Either way. This thing is dead now. Be ashamed to waste its sacrifice. And I will have a talk with my people when I return to them.
That is all I ask.
think that rounds out that scene.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I step on her.
You step on
Ah, the insult to the injury.
I can't tell. Oh, Prince, I can't tell which one's more broken, your body or your spirit.
Did you shapeshift into something smaller first?
Nope.
No.
Oh.
I shapeshift into a dove, and I would like to roll my +4 physique to crush her. Feel the power of peace, motherfucker.
You could shapeshift into a dove and then use your marksmanship.
All right.
Peck out her eyes.
We're sitting at
That's
3.5
not what I was
hours.
thinking.
Oh, that's true. I could shit on her. I could do that as a dragon. It's still marksmanship skill. I get a +2.
Oh god.
Enjoy 80 pounds at terminal velocity.
So, I think that's actually kind of a good place to either stop here tonight, or we could head back, do a little more
No,
roleplay.
we should
No?
probably stop.
We should stop there. All right.
The only other thing I want to do is the summon,
I'd
but
wait on that. I'd say
yeah,
that
may as well.
There will be a dramatically appropriate time for that.
I'm keeping this crocodile until I can summon a copy of it.
I might be wildly inconsistent with the amount of time it takes you to do that. By the way, I'll just kind of like keep a tally in my head, and whenever it feels right for like, oh yeah, he's definitely spent enough time with that thing.
What if, just as a hypothetical idea to throw out, what if the general rule of thumb, rather than a hard and fast rule, is you have to use it for some sort of some sort of actual role that matters, something dramatically significant involving the creature, and that is the prerequisite to being able to summon it.
Or for a long ass fucking time.
Yeah, one or the other.
I can see that.
Yeah, because I was about to say the only thing that I ever did with the pteranodon was fly on it.
It's true.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I could take that as a thing, Matt. Like if you do something significant with a creature, you can be familiar enough to summon it. That could work. Yeah.
Like run away from giant dinosaurs.
Yeah, that's true.
What was
like
your
a
dramatic thing?
champion,
I
too.
didn't get trampled.
And I did it like a champion too.
He bravely ran away.
I Sir Robined the shit out of that.
Oh god, I started coughing.
Alright, so gonna hit this music button. Should have been playing music during all this, but I couldn't find a good chase song. But I'm gonna hit the button, and we're gonna close up for the night.
Okay.
Cassie liked this song, so yeah, let's hit it. Next week, maybe the last session for this for a while, until we come back. Last stone, too. Anyway, good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.